Hey guys, my name is Osor. I'm back again with you for another episode of Arcane reviewing it with my friend Otis.
Hey guys.
So second episode. Um,
Second episode.
first impressions. Let's just jump right in, I guess.
First impressions, this was a hard one. I had to pause it a couple of times just, to rant before I could continue watching it. And I think the essence of my problem is perfectly captured in the episode's title. Some mysteries are better left unsolved.
Okay.
It's kind of my frustration. Still,
Mm-hmm.
overall, it's still good and it's still very pretty.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was some messages in here that I do hope evolve over the season that I wasn't the biggest fan of, if I can say that.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm curious. I'm curious about what you're talking about. I guess we should just start with the first scene then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So yeah,
okay.
we see Jace and Caitlyn for the first time.
Yeah,
Uh,
it takes half an episode before we start getting some names, but indeed we meet
hmm
Caitlin, where we do learn rather quickly that she has rich parents,
Yeah,
and that yeah, Chase, the man accompanying her, are going to their room.
I did like the way they opened it, like from the other side of the door and the other side of the perspective. Like,
Yeah, it took me until like a few scenes. I think after the intro, before I started realizing, okay,
oh really?
maybe this opening scene takes place at the same time as them breaking in.
Oh,
I just figured, oh, Vi and Powder, because it's the only two voices I noticed.
hmm
It's like, oh, they're breaking in somewhere else.
Oh,
But then I
okay.
saw the gem drop and I was a bit like, how careless are you, Powder, to drop the crystal twice? And it's like halfway through the episode, I'm like, oh, she only dropped
Oh,
it
all right.
once.
Okay.
Okay. So
Nice.
yeah, that was a little
Okay.
bit confusing to me.
Oh, it
But
was
yeah,
clear to me the first time immediately. But
mhm.
yeah, just from the way the door was made, how it looked. I guess I
Yeah,
remember that.
it's been a week. I remember details, I remember plot
Oh
threads,
yeah, probably maybe
I
because
remember
of that.
some
Yeah.
visuals, but I don't remember every visit. And to be honest, in that light city, what do they call it again? The top side,
Built
Portland? No,
over.
it's not. Built over, yeah,
Yeah.
which is built over. Yeah.
Hey,
So
I
built.
didn't notice that. I don't know. I wonder if that's on purpose. Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't know, but it's yeah, a lot of the things look very similar, so I figured, yeah, that's just architecture.
Yeah.
Also, we're in the corridor. We're kind of getting an implication, or at least I got an implication because Caitlin was was carrying the boxes. I got a feeling like we're going to a dorm room. I at first figured Caitlin was moving in. I
Mm.
figured Jace was just, her student guide. That
Oh
also
yeah.
becomes clear that this is not the case, but
Yeah.
that just from the opening scene, that's how I was reading it.
Yeah.
So,
Just yeah, I didn't really write down a lot for that scene, except that I got a feeling, but maybe it's just something else that Caitlyn might have a little crush on Chase. I don't know, like the way she looked at
yeah,
him, but she could also
yeah,
just be looking up at like a big brother kind of thing.
yeah. Even by the end of the episode, I'm still not 100% sure what's going on there. Could be Big Brother, could be childhood friends, could be fanning a flame. Who knows? It's clear that they are in some way best friends.
Yeah,
I mean, otherwise he wouldn't be at the gate just to explain to her what happened.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, more
Okay,
to the end. So
and then we get the like flashback, Chase flashback from
yes,
where
and
he.
also there, I realized at the end of the episode that we were seeing Chase's flashback and not Caitlyn's flashback, because I was still reading it as Caitlyn's gonna
Oh,
be our new
really?
main that we're
Yeah.
introducing, and it's the same discussion from
Well,
last
that's
time
weird
with
to me
Little
because
Man.
you see Jace passing out, so strange
Yeah,
that you wouldn't make the connection. To me.
Yeah, but to me, if you open up and it's with someone you know dying, which in this case is Jace's mom,
Hmm.
then you can make the assumption it's Caitlyn flashing back to when she lost her mom, and now there's this thing of violence, and she sees someone else because the
Wait,
force of the
I don't
explosion
get
was
it.
rather great. So
What you mean with someone you know because you don't know Chase?
I don't know Jace, but from the way they were talking, I figured he was some kind of student guide that
Oh
she did
yeah,
already know because they did have some
okay,
discussions. When he
yeah,
says, "Careful, it's your parents' money or your mom's money." I don't
yeah,
know exactly what they're saying, but so to me that implied at that point they know each other, and then he hits the door at the same time as the crystal explodes. The door explodes, so I figured I wasn't accounting for cartoon physics. I figured he's badly hurt.
yeah,
All of the splinters going into your skin, into your body, just the force of the blow. And I can imagine if you see someone like that and you've had a traumatic experience as a child where you
yeah,
saw
okay,
your
yeah,
mother almost dying, to me the logic was it's her flashback.
all right. But
And then
anything about the flashback?
very cool magic visuals.
Yeah, the visuals were very
Uh,
nice.
and when they teleport, you have to have
Space Odyssey.
noticed them. It's Space Odyssey. I
Yeah,
was expecting them to wake up and there to be a star child somewhere.
yeah, it was Space Odyssey visuals. I
Yeah,
noticed that too.
yeah. It's like in my notes in bold with a circle around it. Wake up as star child? Question mark.
Yeah. Well, who knows? Who knows? Maybe he did.
Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I had there, I was wondering where the location was, where he was with his mother. It seems kind of snowy, so I'm assuming it's kind of like a Freljord thing. You don't know, but there's in League of Legends, there's a lot of
Hmm.
champions hailing from the Freljord. It's like a cold region. So
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
kind of wondering
Yeah,
where he
but
could be
also
from.
when the what I assume to be a teleportation is over, it's still, they're in this nice green landscape,
Hmm.
but it's still snowing. His mom is alive while she was dying before, so
Is
it
it still
could
snowing?
also
Wait,
yes, because you can still see snow in the at least according to my notes, we can still see snow. I
oh yeah,
remember
there's kind of
yesterday
like
seeing snow.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I don't have it open right now, so I can't check, but I
yeah,
think
yeah.
so. It could
It's a
also
little bit
be that
maybe.
rather than a teleportation, maybe he just, brought life to a lifeless environment, and
That
that
would
would
be
also explain.
really powerful though.
Yes, yeah, I don't know what the magic lore is in this universe, though
Me
apparently
neither.
everybody's afraid of it.
Yeah.
But what is established is that she's at first dying, as far as we know, and she's healthy again. So the idea of he's bringing life to the environment could be valid.
Well,
So I don't know if they're in
to
a new location
to me,
or in the
it's not.
same location.
Yeah, to me, it's not apparent that she's dying in the sense that she has physical illnesses or anything. It's more like, oh, she's tired. She's been walking 500 miles, whatever, and she can't. Yeah, she can't stand anymore, and the cold is just
Yeah,
biting. And
okay, but it's still fascinating magic to revive someone in seconds from hypothermia.
yeah,
You
obviously,
don't recover from hypothermia in
definitely very
seconds.
powerful
So
mage who was
yeah,
doing the magic there.
who had weird symbols on his fingers,
Yeah.
which I do wonder if that's gonna play a role because I noticed in the intro, and I hadn't noticed last time, that Vi has future Vi when she's for some reason fighting her sister, which I'm sure will get explained. She has like a an imprint of a gear in her neck.
Oh, I
And I'm
never.
wondering if that's gonna feel, especially as we're now talking about, mechanizing magic. I'm wondering if that's gonna
Yeah.
play a role.
Um.
You
Yeah, I
don't have
never
to tell
noticed
me.
that. No, I'm not gonna tell you either. Yeah, the only thing left from that scene, I guess, was the magic crystal was very central.
Oh
Obviously, the
yeah,
power came
yeah,
more from the magic crystal, not from the guy himself, probably. Um,
Who knows? Our all we see really is that Kitty Jace receives a less refined crystal
hmm
from our unknown magic dude, who I'm
yeah,
sure will show up at some point, or at least I hope, because I kind of want to know what the
yeah,
hell the guy was doing over there, because that's maybe my closing notes for the scene. What is going on? Who are these people?
yeah, yeah. It is strange that the guy just shows up to, but maybe who knows why.
Because yeah, he shows up. Jay says something. I can't recall what he says, but he says something, and then the guy turns around, starts walking away. I was like, "What?" And then he starts doing his magic. And I'm like, "Ah, okay, so he's not just leaving."
Yeah. Um, yeah. So that was the intro and the intro song. Any chance
Better,
it's you like it
better
better?
second time.
Yeah,
Yes, better second time. Still not the biggest fan, but I have to admit I like it better the second time. I
yeah,
think, thinking back on it, it might have been the fact that we got this kiddie song
yeah,
over war images, which
yeah,
was very powerful to this theme song, and I think that was a bad choice to put those two things immediately after each other.
yeah. Yeah, so the intro song, yeah, I got goosebumps this time. Actually, even though I heard it so many times, I actually got a little bit of goosebumps when I heard it. So yeah,
Yeah.
it really
Okay.
fits. I find.
Yeah. Okay. I thought it was better than last time, but it wasn't yet goosebump level better.
Yeah, maybe yeah, that's just me, I guess. Um, okay, and then we have the scene where they are investigating what happened at the Chase's room. I guess it's his room
Yeah.
or his
Yeah.
apartment.
I
Um,
think, and that's because I'm gonna come back on this later on when Jace is there in the closing scene. Where
mhm.
is that?
Where is the apartment?
Yes,
Do you
because it's a.
mean?
So I know it's in Spiltover, huh?
Yeah. Well,
And I was in.
we later get the answer to our question from last time, whether Piltover is just a district or the city, and it seems clear from the council meeting that Piltover is like the city or even the country they founded because they say Piltover was founded for blah blah blah. Um, so it's in Piltover, that's for sure.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, it's still unclear to me if the Undercity is underneath Piltover or not.
I
Because
think
at
it's
some points it is because in our when we get introduced to it, they go down
yeah.
and then they go down some more. Where I had that confusion last time
Well, I think
are
there's
the three
just
layers.
I think there's just parts to it. Some parts are, I guess, in like a sewer kind of thing, and other parts are more above ground but far away from the center, near the river, I guess.
Yeah,
Um,
because we get some scenes where you can see the sky, which I thinking back on it, we did see last time, but I wasn't really noticing at that point.
I think
But yeah.
probably there's like zone is pretty big, and then you have like even the slums of zone and the center of zone, and I guess the center would be like this big underground area with
Mhm.
lots of streets and
Yeah.
shops and everything.
But when I asked the question, where is the apartment? I don't mean from that kind of a perspective. Is it in Piltover or is it in the under? It's very clearly Piltover, and we also know from the robbery that it's
Hmm
very clearly rich part Piltover. But the way the council, and then I'm jumping some scenes, and we'll get to the details of that scene later. But the way the council spoke about Jace and his unforgivable crime, again, a lot of comments there. Um, Kind of implied that he was doing his experimentation on academy ground, and that's why we'll get to
hmm
why he's no longer allowed there. But he's there at the end, and he's banned from all proper academy property. So the apartment
hmm
is not part of the academy. So
Yeah.
why does the dean of the academy have any authority over what
hmm
Chase does in his own room?
Yeah, I also didn't completely get that, but we'll get to it.
Yeah, because if
Let's.
everything was framed from the cop's perspective and from the council's perspective, I'd be able to follow. But the first authority that's invoked is the dean. And when I'm then watching the later scene, I'm like, yeah, but when I was at uni, and if I did some weird chemical thing in my own room, the if that wasn't university property, the university wouldn't have anything to say about what I'm doing there. Yeah, there are other laws I need to take into account, so that's where the police, or in this case, the enforcers, come into play. But it's not up to the dean of the
Hmm.
science department to say this guy is now no longer allowed to study.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. We'll get
Okay.
to it. I think we better keep that
Mm.
discussion for
Yeah,
the scene.
but you understand what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, I
I
do, I
was
do,
very confused.
I
But
do.
anyway,
Me
in
too.
the scene we're talking about now, we've got guard leader lady. I knew her name last time. I don't know it now. I think in the entire episode, at no point do they mention her name again.
Grayson. It's Grayson. I remember
Grayson.
just now, but yeah, I understand why you wouldn't. Um, yeah, so Grayson and
She's there with someone who we get the name at the end of the episode,
Victor.
Victor. So in my notes, he's always Guy with Kane or
Hmm.
Dean's assistant.
Yeah,
He's kind of a, yeah, how do you say it nicely? It's kind of an annoyance, let's be at that point.
yeah.
And it leads to Jace being arrested, which again I think is very funny that someone can break into your apartment, blow stuff up, and you're the one getting
Yeah,
arrested
obviously,
without
but
any
I
proper
think
investigation. There was no proper investigation. For as
no,
far as they told us.
but probably, um, I mean, this was, I don't know if the scene is directly, I guess it's directly after the explosion.
Yep,
Uh,
yep.
yeah, so
We
she,
go from explosion
yeah,
to
that's kind of
ultrasound
strange, I guess,
to
yeah.
this. And then Jace is immediately arrested, and I'm sitting there, yeah, but how do you know the burglars didn't blow up his place?
Yeah, I guess that's a plot hole, yeah. Because
Because when they were chasing them, they were still assuming the thieves had blown up the place.
although you could assume that it's not like seconds after the explosion, but it's more like hours after the explosion. First you have like she's the main cop, right? So first you have
Mm,
like just the police, the general police, the chase scene. Chase is meanwhile, I guess, waking up. Someone is helping him because Caitlin isn't there anymore either, I don't think. So I
mm,
guess Caitlin must have gone home already.
yeah,
And by then, Grayson may have gotten instructions from, a higher up that this guy had to be taken
yeah,
because Chase was one of the dangerous elements that Victor said had to be taken with him. So I guess Victor
yeah.
would have already talked to Heimerdinger, and I think Heimerdinger knows Chase. Not maybe not in a personal matter, but just because if you've heard of him. Um,
Okay, okay, but
so
all
I
that
think
said,
it still
but you know
works.
what? Yeah, but you know what would have been nice? One sentence, something like, "Hey, we found all of this dangerous stuff in here. We're gonna take you in for questioning."
Yeah, I
I
guess.
didn't need more than that.
Yeah,
But I needed to understand why a guy whose apartment was just blown up immediately gets arrested when from a way the episode is constructed, we don't get that sense of any
yeah.
time
They
has
could
passed.
have.
Still
They could
daylight,
have.
eh?
Yeah, they could have
So
filled
they,
in a bit
yeah.
more, I guess. Yeah.
But if it had been, dusk or evening, I also would have been able to deal because then I have a clear indication time has passed. But I
Yeah.
didn't get any sense of that now.
Yeah, that's
And
true. That's true.
that's why I was confused. But yeah, you're probably right. It makes more sense than what I saw. So let's go with that
Yeah.
theory until we get something better.
And then we get to the scene where Chase is in his cell, a pretty nice
Yeah,
cell.
where
Uh,
the small furry troll opens the prison door.
it's actually Yordle, that's how they call him, but of course you
Okay.
wouldn't know. Heimerdinger, actually. a
Yeah.
very famous character in League of Legends. He's one of
Yeah.
the most annoying champions in the game. Uh, so maybe
He's also the
I could.
most annoying person claiming to be a scientist I've ever heard pontificate in science. Really, we're 6 or 7 minutes in. This is the first time I took a break in this episode. I had to go outside for 10 minutes. I had to process this, and only then could I continue watching. I'm not a fan of Professor. What do you call
Heimerdinger.
him?
Heimerdinger.
Heimerdinger. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, no, it
please
always said
explain.
that no great science should ever put lives in danger. Then I'm like, okay, this is gonna start off well, but then he gives what I feel is, I hate this quote. The arcane is dangerous, a force of nature. Science cannot control it.
Yeah, I also found that maybe a bit
And yeah,
wrong.
s-
Just
yeah. And then a bit later, all my life I dedicated to discover the mysteries of science, only to discover some are better left unsolved. So I've got a real question for you. What does this show think science is?
yeah, I guess they don't really know.
Yeah, because the way he's describing, I mean, you can make a claim like this about magic, because magic can be anything you want it to be. As far as we know, at this point in time, magic is not a thing. Magic
Hmm.
is the realm of fantasy. It's, it's fun, it's great, it's not real. Yeah? Science?
Well, that's not true because we had the scene with Chase being
No, no,
saved
no,
by
no.
magic.
I'm talking real world for a second. Eh?
All
So
right.
in the real world, you can have magic filled in your fiction, whatever you want it to be,
Mm-hmm.
because magic is not real.
Yeah.
Agreed? We're on the same page.
Yeah,
Magic is
yeah,
not a thing unless we get evidence of the contrary, and I haven't
yeah,
seen any
obviously.
credible one.
Yeah, of course.
So if you make a claim like the arcane is dangerous, it's a force of nature science can control. I have one issue with it, and I'll explain that in a minute. But when I hear then all my life I dedicated to discover mysteries of science, if he had said to discover the mysteries of magic, only to discover some are better left unsolved, you can do that. It's magic. It's not a real thing. You can fill it in. We all have read or seen things with black magic and occult and na.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a whole realm of bad magic and good magic to explore. But science is observation, study, theorizing, conclusion to try and make sense of the world
Of
or
nature.
humanity or humanity's place in the world.
I would just say nature.
Yeah, so we've got that's the exact sciences with biology, chemistry, physics. That's more that I would say for nature. When I'm talking humans place within this, I'm talking more about the what we're calling the soft sciences, which has its own value, but it's a different kind of thing. And then we're talking more, psychology
Yeah.
and economy. There, you can take the scientific principles and apply them to these areas, and that's definitely a science, but it's less exact than when we're talking about the
All right.
exact sciences
Yeah,
because
okay.
so, but basically, science is nothing more than the study to understand. Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we know where you're going with this.
So that's not, in and of itself, a mystery of science. Science is not a realm. Science is not magic. Science is a basic, not basic. It's a way we've structured ourselves, a way of thinking
Yeah, well,
to explain.
yeah, we get it. But I think what you are maybe ascribing to the showmakers, you might have to ascribe more to Heimerdinger himself and
Yes,
not to the
yes.
showmakers.
That's no. That's my next question, because and that's a bit my problem because Heimerdinger is in this episode, and that's why I'm saying I hope of the show this does evolve because Heimerdinger now is the only voice of science we're getting in this show. I mean,
I
Jace
guess
maybe in the future, but
Heimerdinger and Victor maybe.
so, and then I was thinking maybe we're just, referencing when electricity was first discovered and the way people were looking at that, and maybe
Mhm.
that's a bit what we're trying to do here, though it never got as weird as this show goes, but
I
again,
think
it's
I
fiction.
just think as Heimerdinger said, he's 307 years old, and as he later explains, he's seen a lot of bad events happening with kind of the sciences or the magic, whatever he didn't understand or couldn't understand or didn't want to understand because of all the horror, and he kind of thought to himself or said to himself, "Oh, this is closed off from research because it's too dangerous." And that's why he may not want to call it science, just because it would otherwise clash with who he is. So maybe that's why he
Maybe,
he has kind
maybe,
of this
but
problem with
he's
it.
but he's ascribing to science what he maybe should be ascribing more to engineering. The practical utilization of scientific principles. It's,
Hmm.
I mean, knowledge of the four. So here they talk arcane as a force of nature, which would make it the fifth fundamental force. We've got four: the weak nuclear force, strong nuclear force, gravity, and magnetic force. So I'm
Hmm.
I'm willing to buy into magic as a fifth kind of force, but he's ascribing to things like physics, which is just the theoretical understanding of particles in this case. He's ascribing to that the practical application of our knowledge of what we found there. And you need to make a clear difference. And that's why, in my mind, he's not a good scientist. He's not making the differentiation
Yeah,
between theoretical knowledge and practical application.
yeah,
Our knowledge of nuclear forces led to, on the one hand, the atomic bomb, which would be in his favor, but on the other hand, a better understanding of the universe, better understanding of how stars work,
yeah,
from
yeah,
a practical perspective, power for the world. I mean, we can all have our issues with nuclear power generation, nuclear waste, but it's without contest that that's very important
yeah,
for comfort of living. So there's a big gain there. There are many practical applications. The knowledge of nuclear forces and of the
yeah.
four
Well,
fundamental forces
I think we
leads
get
to
it.
carbon dating.
I
I
think
mean,
we
come
get
on.
it. I think we should
Sorry,
move
but
on.
sorry,
Uh,
but you understand why I say after 67 minutes I had to pause it?
Yeah,
This
I understand
this hit me hard.
you have a problem with it. That's
This
very
this
clear.
so
Um,
safe to say I'm not a fan of our professor.
yeah, that's clear. Well, I also thought I kept it a little shorter. He was annoying.
Yes. Yes, that's a fair thing. When you said he was the most annoying hero in the game, I was like, yes, I can fully see that. Even
Yeah,
if I don't know how he plays.
yeah. Well, he's kind of, well, you wouldn't understand, but yeah, he's annoying. And in this episode, he is annoying as well. Although he kind of tries to act like a fatherly figure, and in that sense, he's not a bad guy, but yeah, he's not. He's kind of like the guy that is gonna try to stop things, but is probably not gonna be able to.
Hmm.
I think most people get that. So, all
Anyway,
right.
next scene. Vaya's boxing a standstill bot.
Yes.
Milo Clagor, I think. Clagor?
Clagger,
Clagor?
yeah.
And yeah, I think they mentioned his name only once in the episode, and it was like, oh yeah, that's the guy's name. I also forgot it last time.
Yeah,
So they're in the training room, and I did think it was funny that Milo can't shoot, and then Powder is a crack shot.
yeah. She's obviously very talented. I also
Mm.
noticed she had a ponytail, and I didn't notice that the first episode.
I don't
Uh,
think she had one the first episode.
but it must be like she couldn't have grown it already.
No,
Uh,
but maybe she just died because she did have a hair, I think, until her shoulders. I believe. I'd
no,
have
it
to look
was
back.
like short hair up to her shoulders. at the maximum. But yeah,
Uh,
maybe she magicked it out of some box. I don't know.
they do have this thing, fake hair that people put in
I
their
guess.
hair to
I
walk
guess.
around. It's not a full wig, but
But
extensions. I
I
think they
might
call it
be, yeah, I
extensions.
might be wrong though. But they actually used a ponytail at some point, so I thought, okay, maybe that's why they gave her a ponytail just for this episode. I don't know.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, so obviously,
Yeah, and
uh,
yeah, the scene leads to the only real action scene we have. It's not very big action. I didn't mind that there was no real action scene this episode, but I think it's safe to say that this was about our only action scene.
yeah, I did want to mention, I did like the scene with the guy, like make acting like he would mention a name and then spitting on his shoe. I thought,
Yeah.
I don't know, I liked it.
I kind of laughed, even though it's way out of proportion, but I kind of laughed at the reaction as well. That they pick him up and just throw him through the nearest window,
Yeah, yeah,
which then led to our actually rather short um fleeing scene.
yeah,
We've got a like 10 seconds of a fight in blacklight, then another
yeah. And that's where they
duration.
use the ponytail as well. He grabs a
Yeah,
ponytail
yeah,
to
yeah,
uh to stop her
yeah,
for a second. So
yeah.
yeah,
And then we have Little Man to the rescue.
um, let's echo. I think
Yes,
we
yes.
still don't have confirmation or if Little Man is
Uh,
the big guy or Echo actually. Um,
I'm gonna keep calling him Little Man. It makes more sense
yeah,
than the
okay.
big guy because of the way they talked about it in last episode.
Mm-hmm.
So for people confused right now, listen to our episode from 2 weeks ago. We
Well,
do go into this.
they should have. It's actually done. I wanted to mention this, but I forgot. It's actually done pretty well. It's one of my most viewed videos, so I guess we're doing something right. Um, yeah. Just as a side note, don't forget
That's
to like
fine.
and subscribe, guys.
Yeah, and comments if you want us to do anything different. We're
Yeah.
open for suggestions.
So after the chase where they get away, we have Medarda,
Is it
or
Medarda? Okay, I thought it was Medara, but you know
her
better than
last
I
name
do.
is Medarda. I don't.
Okay.
They also mention her first name or a short version, Mel. I'm not sure if it's Melissa or
Yeah,
whatever.
it's probably not gonna be Medara Medarda, because that would
No,
be
no, no. Medarda
Medarda.
is her house name, and she mentions she's still the poorest Medarda,
Yeah,
even
and
though
she's
she's
the
the richest
richest
council member.
in Spiltover, yeah.
Yeah,
And she wants and then we're not talking war, a revolution to put Piltover on the map.
yeah,
Which I do think is then funny if later on they say it's the only place where magic is banned. Then I'm like, yeah, just the fact that you're doing that would put it on the map. We've got some regions in the world where they do weird things, and that's about the only reason people are even aware that that country exists.
yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah. Well, that's just an introduction. Nothing much to say about it.
No, no, she had a bit of a weird personality, and they're kind of setting her up as a bit of a manipulator.
Hmm.
I did get that sense already, but overall
Yeah,
nothing.
with the toy.
Mm.
Um, yeah, and then we get the Caitlin's parents.
Ah, yeah, 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 but that's very short, I believe, and it's really only used to mention that Caitlyn's parents paid for Jace.
Yeah,
I
so
don't
that
think there's
they
anything
will
else.
have her support, their support. He will have their
Mhm.
support on the
For
council
as much,
meeting.
as much as that is worth.
Yeah, well, they're a big house, I guess. I guess it's worth something at least.
Mhm.
And then we get
Mm.
the scene in Zon with Vander and
Mm.
all of his people wanting to do something and stand up to the enforcers and actually
Mhm.
start a war. That's kind of
Yeah,
what they want.
Yeah, but when they were discussed, because I can follow, and it's a bit the theme of the episode. I can follow both lines of logic. I can understand the anger, and we need to stand up for ourselves, especially if they start throwing us through windows. And I do understand Vander's point as well, as if we start fighting, the only thing that's going to lead to is killing, and that's not good for anyone.
Hmm.
So I kind of wish they would have positioned those two camps a bit as having them have that discussion. You can still end it with there being no conclusion, because I don't think in the scenario there's really a right answer. The situation as is not good, but
Hmm.
the fighting is also not good. So what do you do? But it's they really fall into the cliche posturing a bit, which I mean it has its place, but I was hoping for a bit more. You can still do the do I look afraid? No, you look weak. You can still have that, but do
Hmm.
more than 3 bits of
Yeah.
one-liners.
Yeah. Well, I guess Vander, I guess they wanted to maybe show that Vander is maybe indeed one of the only ones who doesn't want war, and
Hmm.
so the only thing stopping a war is Vander right now, I
Hmm.
guess.
Yeah, but that to me makes it even better to have that short debate in your show, because that more clearly shows then why he's losing his. Because it's very nice in a later scene where he's having a similar discussion with Vi on the bridge.
Hmm.
There, the questions he's asking, the way he's responding, perfectly, make it much clearer. There is no good solution, and she's young and wants more in life and wants her sister to have a better life. So you can kind of follow what I assume is coming next as well. And I felt that real discussion short was way better to show how it's possible that he, as the big man, is slowly losing his support,
Yeah.
than the scene of, okay, we're just gonna throw some throwaway lines at each other too.
Yeah.
Especially after the first episode, I was kind of hoping for more here.
Yeah. Well, okay. Um, so yeah, Vi overhears and also doesn't agree with Vander, so yeah, Vander is kind of alone. But to me, he seems like still the smartest guy in the room. So
Oh
to
yeah.
me, it seems like I mean, it's the right path, at least for now,
Hmm.
to do what he thinks is best. Um,
I think the only other noteworthy thing of this scene is that Little Man reveals that there
spills the
is a deal.
beans. Yeah.
So I think that was quite important, because that leads to some later discussions.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
the actual encounter was a bit weak.
yeah.
That does bring us to the council meeting.
The council meeting where they close all the windows, kind of theatrical.
Yes. Yeah, I was a bit confused on why.
I
Because I
guess they
agree from
want
a theatrics, it's kind of cool, but
I guess
doesn't
they
make
want to
sense.
see me posing or something.
Yeah,
Uh,
but then you can just raise your own desks and have someone.
well, maybe it's like a sign of power. Like maybe it's not easy
Mm,
to build such a big mechanical thing to close the windows,
yeah,
and that's
especially
kind
if
of
you ban magic.
yeah.
Fair
Well,
point. Fair point. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. The thing that confused me is, why is the professor on the council? Um, I was sitting there. I did not get any vibe during the prison scene that the professor was going to be in any position to
Hmm.
to talk there. So I was starting to wonder, does this mean the professor is the dean? But they talked about the dean as though it's a separate person, so he can't be the
No, no.
dean.
I think it's clear he's a dean. Yeah,
So he is the dean.
yeah.
Okay.
Because Victor said earlier he's the dean's assistant,
Yeah.
and later you see him walking together. So yeah, to me it was clear
Okay.
he's a dean. Um,
Okay.
so he's got yeah Heimer's support, and then some blonde guy who's also apparently doing something, or maybe just rich. And then
I
we,
think just what we see in episode 2 so far, he's just rich. It's probably a weasel, and he's less politically savvy
Mm-hmm.
is like a. I think he's a bit of a weasel, and I
Yeah.
think he's just rich. I also think he's worse at the political play than Medarda.
Mm-hmm.
Because you see him eating the nuts. She comes in, she gives the toy
Yeah.
to this other rich guy, and then it's like a light goes on. Oh, maybe I should also keep him happy. Here, have my nuts. And it's like, yeah. Apparently, also not research because the guy is allergic to that kind of
Yeah.
nuts. So,
So yeah,
yeah,
probably just a rich guy.
probably a rich weasel. He might show up later as a a
Yeah, and
buffoonish
then
bad guy. I wouldn't be too surprised, but I
mm-hmm.
wouldn't mind not seeing this character anymore either. He didn't really do much for me, but that's
Yeah.
because he might have, some deeper waters that I don't know about
Yeah.
yet.
So yeah, and then we have there's let's just go over them, I guess. There's like the like a black person with mechanical kind of jewelry. I don't really know who he is or his name, but he's also on the council.
Wasn't there a black lady with a lot of jewelry as well, or is that the black guy you're talking about? Because
Oh,
I didn't
is it
make
a
notes about the
lady? I
counselors.
guess it is a lady. Yeah, it must be then. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to recall from yesterday, so if
that's
I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but
yeah with the fingers. Yeah, it's a lady.
mm.
Yeah, it's a lady.
And then I remember the droid guy.
The droid guy who apparently has a race full that's full of droids then, which we don't really know about either. So yeah, a lot of diversity in the council, but less so in the city, I feel. So I wonder where they
And
all come from.
it's for a certain token of diversity, yeah, because it's established they're all rich, so it's still the upper class
Yeah,
ruling
obviously. Yeah,
down on
yeah,
us.
yeah, of course. Um, so yeah, it doesn't really go well for Jace. He has a problem, yeah, keeping his
Yeah.
head down. He's a
Well,
bit too impulsive, a bit
yeah,
too prideful.
to me it was a bit like Medarda was looking for this. The way I saw it, and that's maybe because by then I had it in my mind that
Hmm.
she's a political schemer,
Yeah,
but she clearly was poking him in order to get
a reaction.
a reaction, because to me it was an obvious power play she was doing,
Oh yeah, it
and I was a
wasn't
bit
clear to me,
confused. The
but
rest of the council didn't read anything political in it because I would imagine that's their bread and butter. And it was clearly she got the ball rolling, got everybody to complain just to challenge him so he would speak up. Because again, she was looking for the big revolution to put their place on the map. So
yeah,
I was thinking it had something to do with that.
yeah,
And you also see how reliable our friend the professor is. He immediately tries
yeah.
to spin it as Jace is this big bad guy, and then only at the end when sentencing, he's like, okay, we won't go for the worst punishment. You just can never enter the academy again, and you need to go back to your parents. Where
Yeah.
to me the confusion is a bit because from the way Jace is acting every time before, I don't
Hmm.
get the feeling he knew that what he was doing was this big taboo crime. Hmm? But
Hmm.
clearly, the council establishes this is this gigantic taboo crime, which to me was also news because that didn't come up in the first
Hmm.
episode, or I didn't pick up on it either way.
Well,
So
I guess the
it's a
way
bit,
he was looking when they arrested him and the way he didn't resist when they were arresting him, I guess he must have known it wasn't within the law what he was doing.
yeah, on the other hand, he's not a rich guy surrounded by rich people, and then the enforcers take you away, and if you act up there, you might get some additional hits. Because everything we see from the enforcers' perspective shows that they're not there to serve the people, huh?
True, he's not a rich guy, but his patrons are like
Yeah,
one of the richest houses.
yeah,
So
so there it could be. I read it more as he's not doing anything now because it would harm his patrons and in the end then harm him and his family and
yeah.
his friends because
Well, I
uh,
guess he couldn't control himself. Maybe he does
mm,
seem like a kind of guy who's not able to
maybe.
control himself sometimes.
Yeah, maybe. But to me, really, that's the trial scene was the first time that I got a feel of, oh, this is actually a huge
Yeah,
crime,
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
trying to
that's true. That's true.
understand
That's true.
magic.
That's true.
That's
Uh,
a bit. And then, yeah, the professor, because at first, professor interrupts Chase's speech, and then we again get I've seen the power in the wrong hands, which again is an idiot's defense, going
yeah,
back to nuclear
obviously
power,
it is.
nuclear
Yeah.
understanding. So it's, yeah. And then Piltover was created to remain safe of the warmongering of mages. Um, we get to the mother defense.
Mm-hmm.
We get my conclusions on the law, which I don't um, really agree with. So that leads to my second big question: is how does Piltover even function? Everything in Piltover is built to lead to a civil war. Also, the way Jace is now treated because he was even slightly interested in understanding magic and trying to, improve their technology with
Yeah.
it. You won't tell me he's the first guy who thought of this. There must be many, many who are thinking. So wouldn't there be this huge black market circuit of people, getting funded by shady sources,
Well,
and
I don't
then
know.
the knowledge would be used? So to me, that's two things. I'm hoping to see such a kind of underground in the upcoming episodes. And two,
Mm-hmm.
to me, the only way, because we see the one thing we see of magic very clearly was the scene in the snow where we see magic. Okay, it's extremely powerful.
Yeah.
So the only way I can imagine that Piltover could be created and be kept safe of any magic influence is if the council is hypocritical and they're using magic to obtain that effect. So
Well,
I'm expecting at some point during the season there to be this upheaval that the council or members of the council are using magic.
could be. I don't have an answer for you, because I don't
Bec-
know. But
yeah,
I think, like, my impression is that magic is, yeah, may exist, but is not like a well-established thing everywhere in the world or anywhere in the world. And it's more like, yeah, something that
but the,
some few tribes or few people or maybe even countries, but I don't think countries
yeah,
have
but
used in the past for bad stuff and to win wars and whatever. But
yeah,
and
but
now any
then
sign of magic is just like not allowed, and it's easier if you want to practice magic. You do it somewhere else, not in Piltover. So if you're kind of a magic guy, you just go somewhere else.
yeah, maybe, but then there would be, if magic can be used in this way, then you would imagine that by now some clever mage would have taken over Piltover. Eh? And that,
Well,
all that said, what the thought I do have now talking about it from a black market circuit is we kind of already see it. Eh?
yeah,
We see
well,
our main
that's yeah,
villain guy with the magic potion. Eh?
yeah, well,
So
that's indeed uh, one kind of magic, I guess.
yeah. So the council's kind of decisions push for that kind of circuit to exist.
Yeah,
There will
it's
always
not
be a black
smart. It's
market,
not
but
smart, and
it's
it's definitely a legitimate question is in how the spillover exists. Um,
in a world of magic, where it's established that there are apparently magical warmongers. So how on earth would Piltover never be drawn into it? The only thing I can
yeah,
think of right now.
might be that it's like in every civilized country or every civilized city, it's established that magic is too volatile to actually use, and it always leads to problems. And that's
Yeah, but
why almost nowhere they actually use it to fuel an army
okay,
or anything.
okay, but it is implied in the way they talk in this episode about Piltover is that Piltover is rather unique, yeah? In that it was built to get away from the magic, which to me implies that in the rest of the world it's not like Piltover. I kind of read it as Piltover is that one
Yeah,
weird city state that does not
I'm not
allow
sure.
magic.
I'm not sure in in how far they can actually like I mean it's a steampunk kind of setting, so I don't think they can like just travel anywhere in the world. So how maybe they don't even have the knowledge of the rest of the world and they're just talking about their world, kind of their what happened in the past where they live. Um, so I wouldn't
Yeah.
assume they can just uh, communicate with anyone in the world or just travel anywhere in the world easily.
Yeah, no, anywhere in the world not, but I mean, we're talking about a civilization that's clearly at some point in the Industrial Revolution with the steampunk setting, so I would imagine there are trains. Would imagine that there's some transport. There
I
would be,
I
even
haven't
in the
seen
mid,
a train.
when even, I mean, even in ancient times, people traveled all over the world. We've got more and more
Yeah,
evidence of
but
that, so.
I wouldn't say it was easy and it took a long time.
Yeah, I'm not saying they have a perfect view of the world, but I would imagine that at least within the setting that the countries around Piltover would be more magic ruled, based on the way they talk in the single
Yeah,
episode about Piltover. Though I agree it might be just self-aggrandizement. They
yeah,
might just be, you know, making the myth larger. Could be,
could be
could
as
be.
well.
But
I have
I'm,
no
I'm,
answer for you in any
yeah.
way.
But it's a bit. I'm leaning towards they might have their own magic, and the reason they're banning magic is because then they lose their monopoly on it,
Yeah,
and they would lose the power. That's and then the whole scene where we've got our potion gets additional layers because our potential future bad guy might just be one of those profiteers trying to
yeah,
get that seat of power using the same tools that, or similar tools that the council is using.
yeah. Well,
I think in general it's because I didn't get a good vibe from the council, so I'm probably looking into it
maybe,
way deeper
maybe,
than I should. But
maybe,
then
maybe. Let's move on. Next scene
yeah,
is
where
oh wait, let me check. Oh yeah, they
that's in the lanes where
the meeting.
Marcus,
Yeah.
yeah, where Marcus, he's established as Marcus in a later scene,
Hmm.
but it's Marcus, the guy who was with the lady guard, meets with the evil mastermind, and of
Silco.
course the no, they haven't mentioned his name yet, I think.
Have they? Oh.
As far as I know, not unless it was one time and I missed it. But I'm still waiting for two
Yeah, might
episodes
be I
to get
just
an
got it from
identity.
subtitles. I thought,
Might be,
yeah,
might be. I
or
don't.
I
So
just remember it because
yeah,
it's been a
I'm
while
gonna,
since I saw it. But
I'm gonna keep calling you evil mastermind for
well,
now.
yeah, he does
So
play
the
the part.
implication in the scene is already there that he's revealing Vi and the gang.
Hmm.
Later scenes confirm that he's talking more, that he's also sharing other things about Vander, and it's like Marcus is doesn't know he's being played, which I think is just ridiculous, but that's kind of the feel I'm
Yeah,
getting.
yeah, of course he's ambitious. He's
Yeah.
impulsive as well. He's not the
Hmm.
smartest guy in the room. So yeah, he's a perfect target to make that kind of play. Uh,
Hmm.
we've already. It's not like he's been established like a smart dude or anything.
No, no, no,
Uh,
no, 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 no. It's like for the audience, it's obvious he's being played. We do have the additional knowledge of knowing
hmm.
that our bad guy is a bad guy.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something to take into account. I would like to think if that kind of a sinister guy had some tips to me, I would also be considering why is he telling me this? Maybe we should investigate him
Well,
more
maybe
as
maybe
well.
he did have reservations, but the price of actually catching
Yeah,
the
okay.
perpetrator is too big for him, and he can't resist.
Yeah. But if you have reservations, will you go bragging in the bar immediately that you got a big tip off? Because he brags, eh? It's not just we want to investigate further and you at least a hide that you got information from somewhere. No, no, it's your little friend told me stories about you, and I'm like, yeah, no,
Yeah, I do feel he's got kind of like an even though yeah he's an enforcer and they are zone citizens, but he's obviously got more animosity towards the uh, zone citizens than a regular enforcer would,
Mhm.
because
Yeah,
uh,
either he grew up there, managed to get out, but still hates his old life, or he's an entitled brat who
yeah,
hates people who have it worse than him.
who
Either,
knows? Who
either
knows?
is still possible. Um, I We're getting the implication that he's kind of second to Grayson. I hope that's not the case. I hope he's just a trainee of some kind that
Hmm.
she's taken under her wings, because if that's the future of the enforcers, I don't think there will be many enforcers left.
Yeah. Okay,
But yeah,
so yeah, nothing much more about the scene. I do wonder, is that the same place where the kids hung out, or is this just another place? Because with
so
the
we see it as a bit of
pink
a,
dust on the,
yeah, it's a bit an abandoned place, somewhat a cross between some kind of nature park and a carnival was the
yeah,
vibe. I really can't say.
yeah, me neither.
I think
Uh,
it's the same problem as I have with Spiltover, is that some locations look a bit like the other, which I mean makes sense,
yeah, it makes
but
sense.
I wouldn't be able to say if it's the same place or not. Either would work.
Yeah. Then we have the scene with Chase and his mother.
Yeah,
Nothing much to say except that, yeah, he could be a little bit more considerate for his mother, but
yeah. I mean, and that is the only note I really took about the scene. Is like, is Jace 16 to 18, or is he 24 like the episode tried to establish? Because I'd like to think by my mid 20s I was a bit more considerate of everything in
yeah,
play.
but he's definitely, yeah, on like a regular day, but I mean, he's just gotten the news that he can't, even if he aspired to ever enter the academy.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I guess he must be down in the dumps, as we see later on.
Yeah, yeah, but I think, I mean, we're getting a feel that this is not a dysfunctional family relationship. We get the feel that his mother actually likes him and actually looks
Yeah,
out for
yeah,
him.
obviously, yeah,
And
of
then
course.
I would think he would be more, leaning on her for emotional support and being
Mm-hmm,
angry at the academy than him being angry at his mother, who he was at the same trial as we were. They were playing him. They gave him a very bad punishment, but the alternative was even worse. And she
mm-hmm,
got him away from the alternative. And then the one thing he says, magic saved your life. I was like, okay, I can kind of see a bit where your anger's from, because she didn't
mm-hmm,
100% defend you in front of a council and said that you're a bit deluded.
mm-hmm,
But that said, um, she's clearly in no way can you even try to imagine blame on her. And even when you're very angry, if you need to reach this far to assign blame, you kind of have a problem.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
That said, I'm still interested to see where Chase's story is going to.
Yeah,
They
he is an
do,
interesting character.
because that is one thing I really have to say, is every character so far is more than two-dimensional. They do have a character,
Mm-hmm,
and they aren't perfect, and I'm happy they aren't perfect. So I can be a bit like, why isn't he doing this or that? But that does make him, more of a real person than
yeah, except for
just considered.
Heimerdinger.
Yeah, no, no, even he's a real person. He's just exactly that kind of person that I
Yeah,
do not like in the slightest.
yeah,
Really, Heimerdinger triggered all of my boxes. I was like, no, 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 oh God, no.
yeah. And then we have a Heimerdinger scene. Um, so yeah, he's walking with Victor again with the oh magic, blah blah blah. It's dangerous. We shouldn't do it. Victor obviously has another idea, and
Hmm.
he keeps the book for his own
Hmm.
research. And
Yeah, I was really hoping in that scene that we would get some a bit more of a dark vibe from Ardeen. An implication of there's something more going on behind the back. No,
hmm?
it's more of the same nonsense as before.
Hmm.
Nothing more to say here.
Yeah, he's kind
I'm
of
not a fan of the Dean.
yeah, he's kind of a very whitewashed character, I guess.
Mm,
Nothing
he's
deep going on yet, at least. Um,
Hopefully never. I don't want to see him anymore. No, that's I'm kidding. If they can give him some more character fleshing out and he starts making more sense, I might have to come back on this. But at this point in the series, episode 2 of what? 8 or 9?
I
At
think
episode
9. Yeah.
No, so at episode 2, so less than a third in, I'm not a fan. But that can
Yeah,
change
I wasn't a
because
fan either. I can reveal I'm still not a big fan. But okay, so then we have the Deckard scene coming back
yeah,
with the the what's it, the drug, I guess, or
I call it a potion just to call it
potion.
something. I
Yeah.
mean, it's clearly magical, so I call it
Hmm.
a potion. Before we get into anything there, can I just say how cool that underwater layer looks? It's
Oh,
a very cool setting. Really, I
yeah,
really
yeah.
liked it.
Obviously, I would like it to be my room. Uh, Unfortunately,
Yeah, I would
I'm
be a
not a
bit
super
concerned
villain.
with. Yeah, I would be a bit concerned with all of those monsters that could hit the window, maybe break it.
Yeah,
But otherwise, yeah, it really looks cool. It's a bit dark to live in, but it's a cool setting. So
yeah.
it's a cool lab.
So we must assume that the evil mastermind lives near a lake. Um,
Yes, or
that's his hideout, I
beneath,
guess.
yeah, or yeah, in a very big sewer canal or something.
Yeah.
With yeah, it's clearly underwater, so there's a big body of water somewhere.
Hmm. So he,
We get some typical villain speech moments, but I did like the one quote before Decker drinks the potion. It's time to let the monster out. I was like, okay, it's still a cliche, but I liked it.
yeah,
It worked. It worked in the scene, so kudos there.
yeah. I like pretty much all the dialogue our evil mastermind gets. Um, it's always cool to see him. I find. So yeah, then Deckard drinks a potion. We don't get a reveal of what he really becomes, but we kind of get a sneak peek.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
and the
we see the
professor egging
eyes.
him on.
Yeah, indeed, we see the eyes change color, and we see the start of what I'm calling a Wolfman transition. But indeed, we don't see the final result. So I'm curious as to that. I
Yeah.
did like the music, the way it swelled and gave off a creepy vibe.
Hmm.
It was like very good, and then we zoom away, go out of the door, and all of that was working very well. Was
Yeah.
some nice piece of cinematography there.
Yeah. Then we have another Jace scene with Caitlyn saying
Yeah,
goodbye, in a sense, having to
yeah,
break
not a
off their
lot.
friendship.
Yeah, not a lot to be said. His patrons were very, very lackluster in their defense of him,
Hmm.
and now they completely shun him and they tell that Caitlyn can't see him anymore.
Yeah, for
I'm
them, it's
guess.
obvious that their status is way more important than anything
Mhm.
else in the world.
Yeah, I mean
Uh,
the investment has failed, so they're cutting their losses.
yeah, very cold.
Yeah, very cool. But everything we see of her parents lead me to assume they're very cold people. I'm interested to see how her character would evolve later on.
Hmm.
That said, she doesn't have much of a character yet, so if we don't see her again at this point in the series, it wouldn't be much of a miss yet. So we'll see. We'll
Yeah,
see. But it's a short scene. We get a lot of short scenes in this episode.
for for reference, it might be interesting. Caitlyn, as well as Chase, are also champions in League of
Mhm, mhm.
Legends. Um,
Yeah, I don't know if I remember seeing her in the opening credits, but I see a lot of characters in those opening credits that I can't immediately place. I'm like, yeah, these are probably all League of Legends heroes, and I might even be seeing some of them already, but they still have to age a bit.
yeah. Okay, and then we have Marcus and Grayson talking to the council, and
Yeah.
they're saying, "Oh, get this guy, do everything what it takes." This is where Marcus gets his resolve to later
Mm.
go to Vander. Uh,
Yeah, it's like my. I only had one note in this entire scene, which is also a very short scene. It's the council wants the Undercity in chaos. They're
Well,
kind of fanning the flames themselves to go
hmm,
full fight.
I'm not sure. I'm not
Because
sure.
they have absolutely no clues insofar as we've seen. They have no clues that any of these magic crystals even exist, let alone that they would be with the kids. I mean, they can assume that some gear is stolen, and
I
the
think I think
Grayson is informed that it's gone,
I think
and
there's obviously there's multiple things at play. I don't think they're all on the same page.
mm,
Firstly, I think some just want justice, maybe. Others just want retribution, like they don't want zone citizens coming into their own house because it was very close to their own house or their own where they live. So I think that's kind of a thing that's going on. And then maybe some of them, yeah, do want chaos.
mm.
But I wouldn't immediately
Oh
assume
yeah,
that.
yeah, no, no, no. I'm not ascribing their motivation as we want chaos, but kind of in the back of their mind, all of them have to know that what they're deciding there cannot in any way, shape, or form end up positive for them.
Well, I don't know. Why would you think so? To them, it might seem
Yeah.
like, oh, this is just some lowly citizen that's done a job and blew up something, and
Mhm.
yeah, catch
Yeah.
him like a
Yeah, and they
little
just
rat. What kind
yeah,
of
and
an
they just
impact might
yeah, and they just got a report that their actions are causing tensions.
hmm
They clearly had a similar fight. What? Not 10 years ago. I can't really
Yeah, I
see
guess.
how
Yeah,
much time passed between child Vi and
yeah,
Powder and child Vi and Powder
yeah,
to grown up. So that's a bit difficult, but I would say let's say 10 years to make it easy. That's not that long ago, especially if one of the council members is 307 years old. That's
yeah,
that's what a year for normal people, eh?
yeah.
So
But yeah,
yeah,
maybe they had. I don't know if they won that war. How many people of their side died, so I don't know how much they care.
yeah, but we do see in that opening scene of the very first episode, we did get the implication that the damage was quite significant, which is
True.
already a big cost. So yeah, to me, it's not like they're saying we need to fight that country and it's another country, another side of the world, or even a distance apart that you're like, yeah, we can cut the losses. Here you're talking about a city that may or may not be directly below your city, or at least just at the border. So
Yeah,
any conflict there will spread to you and vice versa.
yeah,
And that's basic logic. Eh?
yeah,
So I can imagine some of them would be because you will always have a few dissenting voices, but they were all like quite unanimous that they want the enforcers to go hard in there. And
yeah.
yeah, I'm kind of thinking like, this is not gonna go well.
Yeah, they should be smarter, I guess.
Yeah, and it would be different if they didn't have that quote unquote civil war 10 years ago.
Yeah, true,
Then you can forgive it. Yeah, okay, it's a ramification they hadn't considered would actually happen. But
true.
now it's like what can happen and is likely to happen.
Yeah,
And your normal citizens and family will also be at risk because they're not far enough from the danger zone. So
yeah,
yeah, again, not a fan of the dean, not a fan of any institution either.
yeah. You don't like authority. Maybe that's it.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it.
All
Hmm.
right. Next scene. Marcus storms into. Well, he doesn't storm. He walks
He
into.
swaggers.
Yeah,
He
swaggers into.
swaggers into the last drop, which is what the bar is called apparently.
Yeah. Orders a search. Vander presses a button.
Yeah.
I did like the search scene a lot. It was very tense,
Yes.
and I was thinking, oh my God, Jinx is gonna jinx it. And of course, they play with it.
Mhm.
Uh,
It was the best scene of the episode, really.
yeah,
With I love the fact that his alert method is just a monkey with some symbols. Thought
Mm-hmm.
that was quite funny. I like that he wants the strongest shit that's in the bar, and then he quite literally reveals, your old friend told me some things.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
also
yeah.
where then Vander counter threatens, which I did think worked a lot better than Marcus's threats. It kind of, even though Marcus has a whole army on his side, or is at least implying that he does,
Mm-hmm.
Vander's calm and reasonable talk about the gloves he hung up is like
Yeah.
so much better delivered and so much more powerful. I'm like, yeah, Vander is a guy you don't want to mess with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So very tense scene. Other than that,
Mhm.
nothing much to say. Uh, they don't find anything. Marcus is obviously not happy. Um,
Yeah, and he threatens the entire Undercity in one go,
mhm.
further, endangering the fragile piece that's there.
Also endangering himself, not the smartest guy in the room,
Yeah.
as was already established. Um, so yeah, that's that scene, I think.
Mhm.
But it's also now clear that Vander has to do something. You know, he
Mhm.
can't just let everything come together and have no control. So if he wants to kind of control the situation, he's gonna have to take some kind of action.
Mhm.
What that is remains to be seen.
Yeah, and in pretty much one of the next scenes, he kind of already. Yeah, I think it's even the next scene, where he's on the bridge with Vi.
Is it the next
The
scene?
I think it is. It might be something short in between.
Yeah, it is. It
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
So that they're at the bridge where her parents died. So that's the what I assume is 10 years
Hmm.
ago, could be five. Who knows? Where we kind of get a feeling one, Vander has a lot of guilt over what happened then.
Yeah.
Um, he's also seen what this kind of stuff leads to. So that perfectly explains why he knows a civil war will serve no one.
Hmm.
Um, but also there where he reveals to Vi that he has no plan yet.
Hmm.
And then you get a nice shot of her eyes and you see, okay,
Yeah.
she's
Oh,
because they established that in episode one, and she's a bit the young Vander,
yeah.
and we saw he tells us the kind of mistakes young Vander made, and it's kind of setting it up now for Vi to make the same mistake. So I do like that reflection there.
I also very much liked, for some reason, the facial expressions on Vi. Like,
Hmm.
I thought they were very well done. Like, I was really emotional when I looked at the scene because of her crying. Not really crying, but kind of crying. I thought it
Yeah,
was
and
very well
when
done.
yeah, and it's like you see the point where she makes a decision. It's like it's very well animated. I can't tell you what part of the animation pulls you in, but you really get a feel that you know what she's thinking. So that's very well done. Really, it's another quite good scene.
Yeah. So then Chase wants to commit Sudoku, um, or at least it
Um,
seems like he wants to. Uh,
seppuku,
what?
seppuku.
Oh no, Sudoku is kind of like an internet meme, I guess. Suicide,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I understood you were talking about suicide. I have never heard anyone call a Sudoku suicide.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like a meme on 4chan and stuff. Um,
Okay, yeah.
I
Maybe
thought,
I haven't played the most difficult Sudokus yet. I'm at hard level, so maybe
oh,
that's why.
okay, yeah, yeah, might be. So, yeah, Victor stops him.
Yeah.
And now maybe we should talk about your question. Is this the Academy grounds or isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think even if it is, he was about to commit suicide, so I guess he doesn't care about skirting the rules one more time.
Okay.
I'm not
Um,
sure either.
yeah, but it would be a bit weird that when someone is so publicly banned from the academy that he would be able to get in so easily. He doesn't have, the thieves experience that the other four kids
Well,
have, huh?
yeah, but it hasn't been established that like it's very well guarded or anything. Maybe it's just like, okay, if you get caught, uh,
Yeah, maybe.
and
Maybe, yeah.
then you get banished from the city or something. I don't know. And
It
maybe at
has, yeah.
that point you won't be able to get in.
Yeah,
Uh,
but considering the dean is this a very important person and the rich people really rule the city, you'd think there'd be a bit more security, especially because that place had been broken in, what, a day before?
I
Maybe
guess.
2 days. It won't be much more than that, I
I
think.
guess. Yeah.
So, yeah, to me it was a bit, and that's why I had the question, are we on Academy ground or not? Because if it's on Academy ground, I have a lot
Well,
of questions on how we got in. But if it's not Academy grounds, I have a lot of questions on how applicable it is for the Academy to make any decisions on him rather than, him
well,
going through the
the way
normal
I
process.
see, the way I got it was that
Mm,
you have the academy, and they are kind of like the leading entity on everything that's considered science, or yeah, just science, I guess, um, or learning, uh, yeah, academics. Uh, and I'm not sure if Jace was even enrolled in the academy. Uh, I don't think it's ever made clear, and I actually
Well, it
think,
is. It is when they're in the prison. The dean tells to him about the first day that Chase attended the academy.
oh, okay, I guess I'm
Yeah,
I'm
I-
wrong.
I'd have to look up the exact phrasing, but it's something along those lines. Because I think he even mentions that Jace reminded him of himself at that age or something along those lines.
Yeah. Well,
And to me that.
I think it must be. Um, well, it's two options. It's either an academy dorm where he's gotten his, so it's academy grounds and everything is like in one package. So you go to the academy, you get a dorm from the academy, or it's not from the academy, but then it's not his property, but the property of Caitlin's parents,
Mhm,
because I don't think Jace would be able
has the
to
money.
afford such a place. So it's
Mhm.
definitely not his place, but it could
Yeah,
still be uh, Caitlin's parents' place.
yeah, but that's yeah, just a disconnected. I'm probably making a bigger deal out of small thing, but
Well, it's
I didn't
interesting.
understand. Yeah, I didn't understand, and I think I still don't. And maybe some more episode will either, make it irrelevant, which will be fine, or they're gonna explain it, which would be great.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Um, so yeah, Victor stops him, informs him that he is interested, and tries to convince him to go on with his research. Even
Which has a theory. It has a name now. It wasn't mentioned before, and suddenly they're talking about the Hextech theory,
oh yeah,
which
because probably Jace mentions it in the
it,
book.
in the notes, yeah, and I'm like, it's a good name. If you have to call it something, Hextech is a good one.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I also think so.
I'm on board with Hextech.
Well, there's a lot of I wasn't it wasn't the first time I heard the name. There's a lot of items in League of Legends that are like Hextech Rocket Belt and Hextech this and Hextech that. So it's a very League of Legends established name, but yeah, I do like it.
Yeah, and I can see many ways that Victor can turn out to be taking advantage, but I'm kind of hoping that he's just another dreamer. I kind of want Victor to be not the bad guy. That it's not, the one with more Eastern European name with a weird accent, and it turned
Yeah,
out to be the villain
yeah,
in the
that
end.
was kind of
So,
typical. We'll see. I'm not gonna reveal anything about it.
mhm,
Um, yeah, and I did like how he called him egotistical
mhm,
because that's so far what I kind of got from Jace. Like, you're really gonna kill yourself? You have your mother and everything. It's
mhm,
kind of selfish.
mhm. And
So
also,
very
why not just
prideful.
yeah, why not just leave Spiltover and do your research in any of the other countries that may or may not like magic?
Yeah, I think maybe he wasn't really there to do it, but maybe he just wanted to kind of get the emotional feel of it, and I don't think he would have actually gone through with it. He seems like a very neurotic character, so it seems like
No.
something he might like make himself want to do but not really do.
Hmm.
Um,
But Victor's sense of timing is perfect.
yeah, I guess he's gotten to know Jace as well. Maybe he predicted it. Yeah, then we have Vi with Powder, Clagger, Milo uh, having a talk. Um, Vi is clearly implying that she is saying goodbye. At least I got
Yes.
that.
No, it's also here in my notes. The lanes are looking to fight, and Vi is clearly saying goodbye.
Yeah,
That's what I wrote down for this scene. It's indeed with the whole what was it? She said something along the lines of the things you're good at or what make you unique or something along
yeah.
those
What
lines.
makes you strong? What you
Yeah,
no, what makes you unique is what, or no, what makes you different is what makes you strong as well.
yeah, it's something along that. And it was a, and in general, you get a feeling, yeah, this is a way of saying goodbye, which does come up then when we get to the scene after the next,
Hmm.
where the record is playing, which was a good song, and then Powder is in the bar with Vander there, and he sees
The
the doll
rabbit.
in her hands, and you see him making the connection of
Yeah,
Vi's doing something I don't want her to do.
yeah. But let's roll back just a second before it's Marcus and Grayson receiving a message, which I first thought, okay, Vander. I already forgot. I don't know if it's Van. I still don't know if it's Vander or someone else. Um,
They don't say so they're talking to each other, and she's saying what you did.
it's stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, well, basically, it's lighting the powder keg.
Hmm.
It's making sure that this fighting will happen. And then she gets something from the drop chute. The what is it?
I think it is Vi.
Pneumatic
I think it
tubes.
is Vi, but I thought it was Vander when I first saw it. I thought
Yeah,
actually I had forgotten. So I guess I have forgotten quite a bit. I thought it was Vander going to turn himself in, and that yeah, I wasn't sure anymore.
yeah.
But
I still don't know for sure if it's Vi or not. If you're sure, then it probably is.
and no, I don't
Um,
know. I don't know. I'm not
but
sure.
what I we do get two scenes that echo each other a bit later on. Marcus is doing his school walk and he's faced with something, and Vi is also faced with something. So I'm guessing one of the two is being faced with Derek, and the other of the two is faced with more opponents than they figured. But which one of the two is facing the monster and which one of the two is facing their enemy, I don't know. But that's
Oh,
my guess.
Deckard,
Either,
Deckard, yeah,
sorry, Decker. So either Vi is
yeah.
facing Decker, and Marcus is seeing way more opposition from the lanes than he thought he would, or um, Marcus is now facing Decker, and as a part of the plan to make things even worse,
Hmm.
and Vi is facing way more enforcers than she thought she would. But I'm
Yeah.
guessing it's one of the two.
Okay.
But I
Well,
can't
I
tell you
never.
which of the two I predict. But if you say you believe it's Vi giving herself up, then I'm guessing Marcus will be with Decker in my theory. But I don't know for sure.
Yeah, as I told you, I'm not exactly sure what's gonna happen next either. Um, I know obviously the outcome, but yeah, I'm not sure what's gonna happen. But I did like your assessment there that they were f both facing something about even Deckard and stuff. Yeah, I wouldn't have like thought so far ahead, I
Yeah.
guess.
Because it's like the way it felt to me was like they were doing their best to imply they were facing each other, but nothing about the two areas they were in were even remotely implying they were at the same place.
Hmm.
So that's why I think we're seeing both of them react to a different situation, and that the situation is clearly something else than they figured they were to be facing. That's
Yeah,
kind of how I read it when I look at that scene.
yeah. Okay. Well,
So I'm curious.
mhm. Well, I guess you'll have to wait one more week, or no, 2 more weeks before we
Ooh.
can talk about it. Um, but yeah, closing remarks about the episode from you.
Yeah,
Was the first one better or this or what is there a big difference for you or
cut out the professor, and I would rate him equal.
yeah,
But they introduced someone I really don't like. I don't like any word that's coming out of his mouth. I don't like his attitude. I don't like his. I really don't like the professor.
yeah,
But if we disregard that, yeah, I'm still looking forward to what's coming next. And if they can even redeem the professor, all the better. Then I'll swallow these words. But
yeah,
yeah, interested. I'm still interested. They haven't lost me yet. I do think it's not a show I would be able to binge. I
yeah.
think it would be too much in too short amount of time. And I like, having some time to let it sink in.
Hmm.
I'm also less harsh the longer it's been since I watched it. You start making connections, starting to think things through.
I
So
guess.
in general, I'm gonna continue watching. And you
Any
still?
other predictions you have or not really?
So yeah, if we summarize them, so Vi is either facing Decker or way more enforcers than she thought. Marcus is either facing Decker or way more lanes than he thought. The council might just be hypocritical and are using magic themselves. Want to keep that power.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so Vi and Powder will most likely be separated for a while because the introduction song still implies they're going to fight each other. So there will be a reason for that. And yeah, Jace is gonna revolutionize the world.
Yeah, all
So
right.
he might get pulled into our big evil guy, because that's the only one we've seen so far willing to experiment with
Hmm.
magic. But
Who
we'll see.
knows? Yeah, who knows?
We'll see. But then we get to my black market magic crafting theory, so
Yeah,
it's all good.
yeah. So I guess that was it. My impressions were just like
Yeah, so
I
that's my
liked
question to you.
rewatching the episode.
Yeah. So you still feel good to continue the rewatch, or are you like, yeah, no, it's been enough for me?
No, I love to watch it again. Yeah.
Okay, then we
Um,
will continue the series.
yeah, obviously we have to. We have 24 people who watched, or maybe not 24 people, but 24. Uh,
Maybe 10 who watched it twice,
yeah, something like that.
and now
Uh,
4 who misclicked.
yeah, I guess. Um, so yeah, we have to continue, obviously,
Of
for
course we
our
do.
fans, may I call them. Guys, we had 24 views, but we only have 12 subscribers. What is going on? This is
And
not
we
right.
and we even have less likes.
Uh,
Hit that like button. Hit
yeah,
it.
well, if I had to choose, I'd prefer subscriber. But
Yeah.
if you want to do both, I can only applaud you. Um, but yeah,
Going back to the YouTube theory, at this stage for your channel, it's better for the algorithm if you have more subscribers and more likes.
I
So
guess.
you're helping us out, guys, by just hitting that subscribe button.
Yeah, you do. And so, guys, other than that, I don't think I have anything else to say. Do you, Otis?
I think we've filled the time well enough.
All right. So, guys, see you in the next episode. Bye bye.
Take care, everyone. Bye.